Today we're going to learn about elements, compounds and mixtures according to the 0620 syllabus 2.1 core objective learning outcome number 1. Describe the difference between elements, compounds and mixtures. As always, I like to pose a few questions. You might already know the answers to these questions. I don't know, but let's see if you can answer these. So these are the questions I pose. Do you know what an element is? Do you know what a compound is? Do you actually know the difference between an element and a compound? Maybe you might know the difference between a compound and a mixture. If you already do, great, fantastic. After this short video, we'll go into a little more detail. Hopefully you'll join me. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back. There's another lesson on elements, compounds and mixtures. Iron is made up of iron atoms only, so it is defined as an element. Here's the definition that you really need to know. An element contains only one type of atom, and this atom is what we're talking about. Make sure you learn this definition here. Only one type of atom. Here's some examples I will show you. So you can see this nitrogen molecule here is made up of two atoms, 1, 2 of nitrogen. Here we've got the oxygen molecule made up of two atoms, 1, 2 of oxygen. Then you've got carbon here, which is an allotrope. It could be diamond, it could be soot, but you could see it's only one type of carbon atom here. So just see all carbon atoms. Then you've got the metal, which is an element made up of only one type of atom, which is an iron atom. Okay, so elements, compounds and mixtures again, just to re-emphasize what a element is. You can see here we've got the monatomic helium here. That is an element, monatomic gas. Then you've got the one we said before, oxygen O2. We'll be looking at compounds. Remember, they're made of two or more different atoms joined together or combined together during a chemical reaction, H2O. Next slide. There are 92 naturally occurring elements found in the periodic table, in the Earth and in the atmosphere. At the present time, there's about 30 to 40 artificial elements that have been made by many scientists in a laboratory. Each element is being given a chemical symbol to distinguish one element more easily from the other. It's put into a big list of elements that we'll show you shortly, called the, wait for it, the periodic table. Here's how they're represented individually. Remember, this O stands for oxygen, and there's the nice symbol, capital O. There's the proton number, also known as the atomic number, so you have to know both. Atomic number. At the top here, you've got the relative atomic mass, or sometimes known as the proton number, we said. Proton number. And we also have to know it's called the nucleon number, because remember, the bulk of the mass of the atom is contained in the nucleus, where protons and neutrons are found. Here's the periodic table in all its glory. So take note here of all the different types of groups that we have. Alkali metals, alkali earth metals in the green, that'd be that one there. Transition metals, which is predominantly between group 2 and group 3. You've got your other metals here, which is your in-between metals. You've got your non-metals here, and then you've got your noble gases. You'll become more familiar with that as the course of these short lessons continues. Here's a definition of a compound you need to know. As described, a compound is made up of atoms of different elements bonded together, or in other words to that effect, they can be chemically bonded together also. Compounds are described by a chemical formula made up of these symbols from the periodic table. Here's some common compounds you might know. I hope you know this classic example called water. H2O, low, O, Wasser. Then we've got this other one, quite a nasty a type of compound called ammonia, NH3. You've got the carbon dioxide greenhouse gas here, CO2, made of 1 carbon and 2 oxygens as noted by the chemical formula. And then you've got what people like to colour their hair with, the active ingredient, hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. These are some examples of compounds. Here's a definition of a mixture. A mixture contains different substances that are not chemically bonded together. Here's a diagram to show us what we mean. Here's a pure substance of monatomic elements. Here's another pure substance in purple. And then, a bit like Smarties or M&Ms, you mix the green ones with the purple ones and they don't combine together. You could separate them. So that's basically the definition. Here's the different types of mixtures that we can have. A mixture of 2 compounds. There's one there, which is different to that one. There's another mixture here. That could be ammonia. That could be the monatomic neon gas floating around. And then you've got 2 different types of gas. That could be oxygen gas and that could be fluorine gas. So you can have them in all different states also. Here's a definition to cover all the different states. Okay, it could be 2 or more types of atoms that are not chemically combined together. Remember, you can have solids, 2 liquids or 2 gases, or any combination of those. And that is a mixture. Okay, as always, we like to have a quick 3 to see how much you've understood. Hopefully, you'll pause at each end of the questions and have a go at answering, because that's the best way to learn. Have a go, pause after the first question. Define what an element is, give an example. Question 2. What is a compound? Also give us an example. And question 3. What is the difference between a mixture and a compound? Remember to pause at the end of the question and have a go at answering. Write something down or think about it for 30 seconds or so. Here comes the answers. Let's see how you've done. Okay, number 1, example, suggested answer here. Elements are made of only 1 type of atom, and an example could be hydrogen is an element because it's only made up of hydrogen atoms. H2 is the molecule in existence in its natural state, made up of 2 atoms of hydrogen covalently bonded. Number 2, what is the definition of a compound? Give an example here. Compound is made up of different elements chemically combined together. Example, classic example that we put in our food, table salt. Okay, that's where the atoms of sodium and chlorine join together to form a stable structure called NaCl. We'll learn more about that in bonding called ionic bonds. What's the difference between a compound and a mixture? As per definition states, a compound is made up of different elements that are chemically combined together, where a mixture contains different substances that are not chemically combined together. So you can physically separate them into their separate elemental parts. Hopefully you got 3 out of 3 out of that. Well done. Give yourself a pat on the back. Good job. If not, we can always do better.